Dick fart, dick cheese. Come fart in my mother's asshole. Godzilla eating up my diarrhea like a fucking bitch. Sissy hypnosis monkey experiment Osama bin Laden. Was anything I said funny there, or did it make any sense? If you did appreciate what I just said there, you might appreciate the content of the guy we're about to talk today. He really is someone, like, special to me, in a weird way, but I do have to tell an important story that, really made me kind of hate him, and it goes back to my childhood when I was 13 playing paintball. I was with this Russian guy, and we're pinned behind a minivan. There's a guy in a balcony thing, like that's connected to the wall, whatever, but he's pinning us down. He has a really fast-firing gun. I have my pump, and like the Russian guy has a gun that can fire normally, but like we're being pinned down, shots are going through the minivan, and he points to like a doorway that leads up to where he goes. And I wasn't thinking, I run out and I just get shot up and I fucking die. Because, of course I can. What was I thinking? I got killed like mid-battle cry, and I was like, oh fuck. Yeah, you really get into paintball, and really the best thing about paintball is when after the match you kind of like talk amongst yourselves about your victories, and like you deliberate with like your enemies and stuff too. So it's all friendly, and he comes up to me and he's like, because his English wasn't really that good, and he's like, my friend, I did not mean for you to run out like that. I was going to shoot them down for you to run in. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, you're gonna suppress the guy so he's gonna take cover, and that I can run in and get behind him. And then I'd start using this in paintball. If there was ever, like, one of these speedballing fucking douchebags whose moms bought them all their balls and, like, their fucking guns. All I had was my pump, but I could still kill them because I would cooperate with the little kids I was playing with. I'd pull up, like, a 14-year-old, like, an actual sergeant would, and, like, point him towards that window and tell him to suppress, and then I'd go in and, like, get behind them and get some kills. Like, I'd die, but I'd always, like, contribute. And, like, that little event with that Russian guy that only took place over the course of 20 seconds really taught me a lot. And I used it in one of my Warzone games that I had the other day. Me and the Northern Cowboys, our elite alpha male gaming athlete clan, all three of us, we were in a match on Prison playing Warzone. We're on the roof. And the tower's here. If you ever played Prison, you'll know what I'm talking about. The tower's here, and we're right by that wall thing, and we're being pinned down. We're fucked. Our rear guard just got killed, so we know there are guys coming from the other side of Prison, and we're about to get third-partied. We don't have much time here, so we have to make a decision because those guys on the bell tower are fucking us. But I don't have any ammo on the weapon I have, and I know what I want to do is, like with the Russian guy, I want to get up and start firing at the guy to suppress him so that my boy Scruffles can snipe him. And that's pretty much exactly what happened. Well, I had to go run out and get a gun, so that's like another decision I had to make. I didn't have enough bullets to suppress him, so I had to pick up a weaker gun. I had to make another decision and compromise so I could do this. And even though, like, that whole fight only really lasted 20 seconds, like, because of our decisions, it really could have gone, like, any way. We could have retreated and, like, gotten killed somewhere else, or we could have just ran out like retards and got killed by the guys in the tower. But because we used what we've learned over the years, because there was a lot more that went into this like 20-second moment that happened with us, it really did feel special, and it felt like, we used everything we learned up to this point to get this one like victory that only lasted 20 seconds. And we didn't even win that match. We died shortly after because we made another like stupid mistake. But it meant a lot more. It was so much more than that. So I was kind of offended when I heard my boy Critical speak ill of Call of Duty. And I don't really care if people don't like COD. I understand its weaknesses. But he had to get a little more personal than that. And let's see what he had to say. So he's playing Halo Infinite here. Let's check out his like gameplay.
It's Alpha would be my guess.
So he's fighting AIs here.
He wasn't programmed to handle this kind of abuse.
He's just kind of commenting on what's happening. He really doesn't have much to say about like the gameplay or like the systems and how they interact with each other. He's just gonna walk up to this bot If that was a real person, he really couldn't have done that there. He would have just gotten killed.
Oh my god, I'm going in.
He really doesn't have much to say about, like, the game or, like, what he's doing. He's just kind of commenting on his situation in the moment here. He runs into that frag that the guy threw. He really isn't paying attention to his surroundings.
So clean.
But he knows he can succeed because he is just playing against bots, so he really doesn't need to try here.
My city. Click, hold on. Look at that. These pussies.
This isn't an edited video either. This is just, like, his raw stream footage that he's, like, cut up to show the most interesting parts that he think will showcase him in the best light. This isn't a video that someone like a Godwinson or like a Kraut might make. Or like a Mandalore Gaming, where he really goes into the game and like plays it and really explains all the systems to you. He's just kind of like talking about what's happening. But he will talk about the game in a second.
Beer. I keep fucking...
His reaction speed isn't good there.
Again.
He kind of panicked.
FPS to 1. Unlucky. They programmed fun.
I think he just played the same... He fucked up while editing. What? I think that's like the same clip or something.
Would be my guess.
Oh, who gives a fuck? I just kind of want to... He does talk about Call of Duty here. Oh yeah, here we go.
What is going on? Are they just...
So yeah, that's like in Call of Duty Warzone, the thing I described to you, I kind of just saw that in what happened here, but like the opposite. So when we were being shot from the tower, instead of focusing on the guy in the tower who was important, he was just like, if we went off and fought the other guys on top of prison, this is what he does. He's being shot at from the left here, and he's just focusing on these like retards over here. But like he doesn't have to be tactical because he's playing like a shitty game that there really isn't much to it. I kind of gotta find where he talks about Call of Duty here.
What's an awful take saying that they should spend more time on this game? They couldn't even release it when they wanted to. It took them...
Yeah, he's bitching about people not spending enough time on the products they deliver to people.
They're a select tested. Yes. Welcome to...
I think this may be the wrong...
Desperate to bring back the fans. I don't think that's necessarily...
Oh no, here we go.
If they are, specific time, they just said July 29th, 3 p.m. was 9 hours. Like, this does nothing to help with hype. I just...
Fuck, I really wanted to go into this blind because I have seen this video, and I did want to give you my unfiltered thoughts here. I'm gonna pause and find it. On this segment, I didn't want to waste your guys' time. Here it is.
Right now, no changes, no improvements, no additions. I would still prefer it to Call of Duty. I find Call of Duty to be mind-numbingly boring. I cannot handle Call of Duty. COD is only good if you're good at it. Yeah, I hear that a lot, and it's usually from people that peaked in high school. You can't be bad at COD. The game is designed so even a fucking baby who accidentally drools on the controller gets some kills. You actually can't be bad at the game.
Wow, so, after my epic gamer moment that I just told you guys about in Warzone that I had, where all these, like, different factors occurred, and our decisions amounted in that game to that moment where it really only took 20 seconds, but a lot of thought went into that. He thinks a game like that would be way... Like, he thinks Halo Infinite, this shitty game that he's ragged on, is more intelligent than what us, the Northern Cowboys, went through in that experience. But it's not enough that he just thinks that Call of Duty is mind-numbingly boring, but that the people who enjoy it peaked in high school. And that, you know, they just want to play games for mind-numbing retards that don't take any skill, and they just want to live on easy street so they can get easy wins and get easy dopamine hits. Unlike Critical here, whose sense of humor hasn't changed since high school, he makes the easiest content that he knows the algorithm will pick up and that most people will kind of click on by accident. And the games he plays are like mind-numbingly retarded games that even like a fucking child could play, like this one. So again, remember, you know, our Warzone experience that I told you about, where all that shit kind of went down, only took place over the course of about 20 seconds. And we're about to see that play out. So, essentially how this game works, well, how this run works, is this boat here that you clip onto. This game was made as like a meme, right? Like, there was no, like, serious thought put into this, but it's just like a joke game and people like it. But people speedrun it, really only Critical, like, he has the world record because he grinded for hours and hours and hours playing this one, like, half-second level, because what you do is you clip onto the taxi and, like, in a specific spot, and it randomly shoots you off in a direction, and you're hoping that it sends you into the final room of the game where you can pick up the key and run to the door. So, you know, my Warzone game, where I have to use, like, real military tactics that I learned from paintball all those years ago, and I have to cooperate with my boys, is mind-numbingly, like, stupid, drooling shit. But the stuff that he will grind out for hours and hours and hours is shit like Mr. Krabs overdoses on ketamine speedrun world record, where he will spend, like, fucking 3 hours trying to get a record, just doing the same thing over and over again for fucking ever. So, yeah, there you can see, he has an orgasm. You know, he's excited that, you know, after hours and hours and hours of, like, bashing his head against the wall, that he's finally won, unlike me with Warzone, where I knew what the outcome would be before I started, which is why I chose that plan. His victory here is as surprising to him as it is to us, and that, frankly, is his internet career. And he isn't willing to put in the effort to change, because he knows that if he drops this wholesome Keanu persona that he has, that he wants people to think is really him, that no one will tune into him play Mr. Krabs speedruns on ketamine, because he really isn't insightful enough to do anything else besides this. And you can tell that because, like, he doesn't actually speedrun real games. He can only play Mr. Krabs because he isn't willing to learn the actual strats, and he isn't taking it seriously because as soon as he gets out of the taxi and he picks up ketamine, that's a speed boost. He doesn't use it immediately because he isn't drilled like an actual speedrunner would be, because he's not taking any of this seriously. So he gets the world record. Yeah,
Holy fuck! Holy fuck!
He's orgasming because this is all he has. Like, without Mr. Krabs does ketamine.
Together beautifully, great chum RNG too. I was having terrible dog shit RNG in the chum bucket all night.
Yeah, so, like, he knows, like, the reason why people do speedrunning is because they can never be winners in real life. So they feel special that they know all this shit about, like, a fucking stupid game that no one cares about. So they can feel like experts if they know how to properly crab shift every time. But he can't do an actual game like a New Vegas or like a Mario 64, because he can just make as much money doing Mr. Krabs, and that's really all he cares about. And again, he has to keep up the wholesome pee-pee-poo-poo, wholesome Keanu Chungus, like, persona. He can't really do anything else besides this because he's not capable of doing that. And and no one will watch. So, you know, let's see kind of his genesis. Because I have watched this guy really since the beginning, and his content really hasn't changed. Like he wants, like, he kind of had to put on this persona when he was doing videos, you know, like boosting. Like, when you're doing videos, you're really not acting like you are in real life, and he pushed that too far, and then people thought that's actually what he was like, and that's why he's popular, so he can't quit that. I really kind of want to go to, like his original content. There was one video I was thinking of. Yeah, this one. So,
What's up, everybody? It's Chris.
like, unlike me with my Warzone video, like the story I told you, I explained exactly how this tactic I learned can be effective, and maybe you could even apply that to your Warzone game. But Critical can't do that because he's not smart enough to actually play these games at a high level. And that's why he has to play Mr. Krabs. And that's why he has to play Bad Company 2 here. and he can't show you how to like really like change the tide, turn the tide of these matches.
This is episode 3.
He can just show you how to do stupid fucking shit, and this isn't really that funny.
What you do is you use a tracer dart, and then you tag an enemy in the face, and you can either knife them or RPG them or whatever, and it looks a lot cooler because their face is glowing red.
Yeah, so he can't tell you how to do like a fun tactic like strapping C4 to a helicopter and like ramming it into another helicopter in midair, because he doesn't have the patience to do that, and he really can't do that because he's not good enough. So all he can do is like this really stupid thing where he goes up to someone and shoots them in the face with a tracer dart, and then just like knifes them or RPGs them, whatever. Like he just thought of this and then just made a video. Like, you know what I mean? But this is like his genesis, but I really just wanted to show you that, to show that like his content really hasn't changed. And let's go over that. So, like, here we go. We're kind of just looking at his stuff. Again, like a lot of the stuff is just like pee-pee poo-poo, like retarded, like shit. Like, oh, we're gonna like do the Star Wars tier list. And give like my hot takes about it. But none of these are like edited videos. They're just like snippets of his streams. Like, he isn't like the Act Man, because the Act Man and like Mandalore Gaming, for their Halo Reach video, they did actually like do their research and like put in the effort to make an actual video where they could like really expand upon their points and like actually thought about shit and like wrote it down. It wasn't just their like unfiltered stream of consciousness to like what they're reacting to. But like, again, Critical can't do that because it doesn't make sense to make an Actman video when you can just stream and make the same amount of money. And, you know, that's really what it's about for him. And again, like, he can't, like, if he does something that his fan base doesn't like, they'll realize he really isn't a wholesome Keanu Chungus, and then his channel will die because that's really all he has going for it. So, yeah, there's like a Jake Paul video down here. Yeah, so it really just is all shit that, like, he's seen on Reddit, and he's just reacting to, like, a movie trailer here. Oh, like, yeah, like, no one else is doing that. But yeah, like, fuck, I watched a bit of this.
Moment. Everyone's so hungry for clout, more important than oxygen to some people, and they'll make a fool of themselves on TikTok, and pretty much...
Yeah, so this, like, really isn't something he's passionate about, like a Godwinson. Who will like sit down and like actually think about what he's saying before making a video. This is just something he's seen on his Twitter feed and is just like, oh, I guess I'll make a video on this. I'll get like 3 million views, like whatever. Like people, like there are a lot of people actually really sit down, you know, like a Kraut and like a Mandalore Gaming, who like consider like really carefully what they want to talk about and why that one thing is important. Like they just don't like pick a random game and just like fucking bullshit. They pick something that's interesting that people might not know about. He really is just hoping that like some random person who hasn't seen this Jake Paul video just like clicks on it because it's interesting. Like there are like tons of channels out here that do this, and he really isn't any different from them, like at all, really. So like he can't, like, you know, he's just like a reaction channel at this point. But he is trying to branch out and do podcasting. So let's see how that turns out. Again, because like when he's alone, he can be this like pee-pee poo-poo, like Keanu Chungus retard. But when he's with other people, that might change.
I'm out of time. I agree.
So this is Critical's podcast.
It's just a small boat ride to video game heaven. But,
this is like a random segment, by the way, and we're just letting it play. He's not jumping in here. He's not saying anything. He's not leading the conversation. He's just letting them speak because he really has nothing interesting to say.
Maybe you could just make a pit stop for video games.
Like they're talking about some like adventure they went on, like a trip. But again, Critical hasn't done that. He really just has sat in his room and like talked about like shitty games like Mr. Krabs for his entire life. So he really doesn't have the life experience to talk about anything else besides, like, you know, like, shit. And he's not a good enough gamer to, like, you know, make an actual, like, Warzone video where he's, like, he can't play, he doesn't really play multiplayer games where he faces against real people. He can't do that. He can predict what Mr. Krabs will do when he gets on the boat, but he can't predict what I'm gonna do to him in Warzone. And that's why the Northern Cowboys would beat him in a match of Warzone. So he can't, he can't really do that at all. So, and yeah, again, like, he has to let people know that, like, this pee-pee poo-poo persona is his real person, because if he drops that, no one's gonna give a shit about him. That's really the only thing he has going out for him. He isn't like an AVGN where it's just a character, or a Doug Walker where it's just a character, so you can, like, separate it from the person, and then Doug Walker can do other things that are separate from the Nostalgia Critic. Critical is just his persona, and he realized that it's worked, so he can't really change himself at all. The only thing he can really do is, like, show himself, and now we know he's like a fucking manlet, and he looks like a hobo, but now he can, like hit cans off a wall with, like, a fleshlight, which is, like, an obvious parody, kind of an homage to, like, FPS Russia, and, like, those, like, Barrett 50 cal guys. But again, like, they have more going on with them, like, they're actually showing you something interesting. Like, you want to see someone dual wield an AA-12 and, like, blow up a bunch of shit. That's cool. Like, what's gonna happen when you hit a fleshlight to a can. You can guess that. And FPS Russia has a separate character, so now he can separate himself from that. Now that he can't, like, fire any guns, and he can do his own thing, and he's successful, and he's doing something he likes. And then because, like, they have separate, like, because Critical has, like, a separate, his persona's kind of intertwined with his character, he really can't do heartfelt things like the Barrett 50 cal guy did. Like, when that exploded and he almost fucking died, that was, like, a serious thing, and, like, it works into his persona, like, his person as a creator. It meant a lot. Like, it really did mean a lot when he loaded up the 50 cal and fired it again. I really felt for him there, and he can use that now. He can laugh at it. Like, people at conventions will hand him 50 cal rounds, and he'll sign them, because he has something going for him. Like, I can't really think of, like, would I go up to Critical and like, have him sign my fleshlight? Is that really special that he did that? Versus the very real thing of the Barrett 50 cal? Like, Critical could have, like, shot a fleshlight with a Barrett 50 cal, and that would have been interesting, but he isn't willing to put in the effort when he can just, like, get a fleshlight, and he knows, like, people will like his Reddit persona, and he can just coast off of that. But I will get into someone else who I do also like, who really is kind of similar in not many ways to Critical, but he really has made a name for himself. So, Pyrocynical, my boy, I really actually do like this guy's content, and I started watching him in high school, and I still watch him now, because, again, like, he really didn't bank on this, like, persona, like, this MLG persona. He isn't doing this anymore. He doesn't do YouTube poops anymore. He started off doing this, and then he started kind of doing the content that Critical did, but then, these still have a lot of views. This Counter-Strike video has, 2 million views, 700,000, like, he's doing good here, but this isn't who he wanted to be. He wanted to do his own thing, so he carved out his own niche. Unlike Critical. Like, Critical just, like buys expensive animal crackers and, talks about shitty, like, phone games. Like, Pyrocynical here pioneered an entire genre of, like, commentary videos that, like, all of these ones that you've seen before, and they don't even exist now that he's not even doing them. Let's go back to Critical. There's this one video. I bought the most expensive animal cracker in the world. Like, people are still gonna do that after you've gone, but no one is doing, like, the style of, like, MLG videos and commentary videos, or, like, talking about autistic people, now that Pyro isn't doing it, because, he was willing, he trusted himself, unlike Critical did. Critical probably does want to do a lot of things, but he doesn't trust himself to put in the effort, and that, like, they will succeed, so he will just take the path of least resistance, unlike Pyro, who is a pioneer in, like, multiple genres here. Like, his MLG videos were the best of their kind, his YouTube poops were pretty much the best of his kind, people still remember Shrek Has Swag and all this shit, like, years later. No one fucking remembers, like, critical shit that he did in the past. But now this is what, like, so, like, commentary videos are dead. Because again, like, Pyro's a growing person, unlike Critical, he isn't always doing the same shit. He is doing his own thing. So once he realized that was old and he couldn't do it anymore, and he really did want to show you that he wasn't just a retard, who just does the most basic shit and just rants about, like, what he's seeing in the moment, which is what his content was. He wanted to show you that he really can be insightful and, like, a deep person. And he does that. Like, look at his content. Like, look, he's talking, in depth, you know, like someone like Joseph Anderson or like a Kraut would about, like, a video game. And he gets in depth here, and he talks about all the systems and mechanics.
Heavy drums with distorted screaming in the background.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like, even down to, like, the subtle ambience of the world and how that makes you feel. This isn't like a Mr. Krabs video or like a Halo Infinite where he's just kind of like telling you what he's seeing. He really, like, sat down and thought about the video he wanted to make here and the game he wanted to make the video about. And this is what his channel really is. Again, like, the fall of Fall Guys. You want to watch that, right? Like, it's a game that was very popular for a very short amount of time, and then it died, so you might want to know what went on there. You know, we're just talking about retards here, but there's kind of a story behind that. You might want to know, like, what he's saying about GTA. Again, like, like, you kind of know what this video is about just by watching it. He's gonna watch two people slap each other and make pee-pee poo-poo jokes. But again, like, Pyro, you know, he is intelligent. There's a video here where he reviews, like, this indie movie, and he really does get into, like, the themes about it, and he's very intelligent about it. And I watched that movie after he recommended it because he did such a good job of, like, recommending. It was Cube. I can't find it now, but you can just search up, like, Pyrocynical Cube, and it's amazing. But again here, like the Barrett 50 cal guy, because he is a real person, and he's more than just a Fox avatar on YouTube. He is willing to like show that he is vulnerable here, unlike Keanu, Critical could, because if the wholesome Keanu personality was dropped, no one would tune into him like playing Halo. But I'd still tune into him like doing Shrek Has Swag. You know what I mean? Because like it's good shit. So, like, he can, like the Bear 50 cal guy, he can have these personal moments that build into his character, and, like, again, like, you know, he's known for something now. You know, the bear, like, the gun exploded and he almost died, that was a terrible situation, but now it's something he can work off of, like Pyro, with his disgusting, like, fur fag fetish shit. But I'm willing to look past that, because his content is just so good. And, I haven't watched him. Like, again, like, the Far Cry 3 video, like, amazing. He just goes into, like, the characters and, like, how they make you feel. Like Megamind, he's not just an autistic that does, like, DreamWorks movies, like reviews with the B-movie. He's very selective about what he talks about. I will try and find this Cube video. But again, like, he still has, like, the sense of humor. Like, he didn't have to sacrifice that because he was willing to take a risk here and be honest with everyone about what he was, like, truly about, unlike Critical. But again, like, he can, like, these are topical things that everyone knows about, but because he's willing to sit down and, like, edit a video together, he's willing to go more in depth about these things than Critical could. Fuck. I'm gonna search for this. Because, like, everything in this video, like, is really everything Critical should have done but couldn't do because he wasn't intelligent enough. And, didn't trust himself to take risks. Fuck, I can't find it. It might be gone, but, I guess we'll just watch the Jake Paul video.
Talking about Logan Paul's latest movie.
We'll just skip to a random scene.
Experiment, and while the group believe that they're being monitored, he believes that no one is watching. Life is out of control, and this is another one of its dead-end projects. Because honestly...
So again, he's being, like, really deep here. He's talking about the themes of this other movie, and how they might apply to this.
Because it's here. Infinitely less terrifying.
Oh no, this is the Cube review. So I do have a funny joke to show. Because, again, like, he can be deep, and you know, he can be insightful, but he still has the humor here.
See in the film, only 2 people actually died. By the way,
Oh, fuck.
but keep in mind, all these people have only just met each other.
Well, anyway, so essentially the joke is here, and, you know, it really does show you that he understands his audience, unlike Critical, who is just making shit for the masses. So this guy gets cut up, and, like, he falls, like, apart in cube pieces, and, like, he plays it in reverse, you know, using his knowledge that he gained from YouTube poop, so he is learning and expanding on the shit he's done before, but, like, he puts it back together, and he plays, like, the Lego thing from Star Wars, the original one, so, like, he knows, like, his audience are the age where they like that type of shit, so, again, like, he's intelligent enough, like, he made an educated, guess here, making content like this, and his fans appreciate it. And I've come back to his channel now that he's doing content like this because I wouldn't have stuck around. You know, like I didn't stick around with Critical, and like a lot of his old guard fans probably didn't because he never changed, really. And he never had anything, like, that really made him special. Like, I'll go into this. Because, like, you know, Pyro has a persona that's separate from him, so he can do other things that he likes, but he also has this persona that will get you attached to him. And, you know, he can use that to, you know, like, carve himself out and make himself unique, unlike Critical, who really is only known for being Keanu Chungus. I'm not retarded here. Pyrocynical's, like, not a fucking real, like, name. Well, I can't really find a picture of it on fucking Bing because it sucks. But anyway, so, like, he made, like, he didn't make this, like, a company reached out to him and said, we want to make, like, a figure of your persona because, people are so attached to him and, you know, they like his content because he is willing, you know, he was willing to be different and carve out his own niche because he's intelligent enough to like, know what the audience wants, unlike Critical, who can only guess. Like, his entire internet career is, like, a complete accident. And he really can't do anything else besides that because he's just done it for so long. You know, like a Dark Side Phil. You know, please forgive me, Phil. I know you have a Death Note. Don't write my name in it. But, like, you know, he can't really do anything else. He couldn't work in the real world because, like, he can't do anything. He couldn't play video games professionally because he can only do Mr. Krabs. So he, you know, he couldn't even be, like, a speedrunner. He couldn't be a comedian because he's not funny and he doesn't know how to, like, change with a market. And, like, he couldn't really make a video game because he doesn't know what makes video games special. He really just is the bottom, like, barrel, like, feeder of content, and his success really is only attributed to the fact that he's just done it for so long and stuck with it. But there are other people, and, like, Pyrocynical's less popular than him, but his content, you know, outperforms Critical's, and it's just way better, and people realize this because they've become so attached to him. And, you know, they're more willing to forgive his failings. Like, if Critical was known, like, to beat puppies, you know, that would defeat his Keanu fucking wholesome thing, and then he'd be fucked. Like, he really is saving a sinking ship with his channel here. He really does just have to sit down and react to fucking content, because if he doesn't, everyone will lose interest, and they'll just fuck off, you know, like I did. And I really don't think it is because, like, his like, I was stupid. I think I just grew up, and his content never changed. Like Pyrocynical, because I stopped watching him for years, but I've watched a few of his more recent videos, and they're great, so I'm gonna watch more. But now, you know, I just want to end with one more person. We're gonna play a song here, too. We're gonna play a song, but this person, again, he separated his persona, and, you know, not many people liked it, and they gave him a lot of shit for it, but he stuck with it, and they knew it was a persona separate from him, so he was able to make it a goofy character, unlike Critical, and now people have come to appreciate him in a different light, like me, because I didn't, you know, I watched this guy's content for years, but then I grew up, and I kind of like what people have done with him, so we'll go into that.